Hello there, beautiful people. Joe here from Vox Pictoria. Thank you so much for taking some time to check this video out. What am I going to give you in this video? In this video, I'm going to give you my steps, my thoughts for how to quit your job. And I've written down 7 of them, so let's get started. The first thing you want to do is not leave the organization. I'm going to go without the glasses here. Don't leave like a kidney stone. That's the first category here. You don't want to leave your present job in a painful way for them. Like you don't want to leave in a way that's disruptive for them. Chances are your leaving will cause them some discomfort because they have to replace you and find someone to do your current job. That's normal operating business stuff. They get that. But you don't want to leave in a way that's really painful for them. So that means that you'll need to think about the following steps, which are 2 weeks notice is the correct amount of time to give your current employer if you're going to leave, in my opinion. I see a lot of people giving 1 week. I really don't think that's enough for the employer. I know you want to get out of there. You might not like your job. You might hate your job. You might have a great job lined up and you want to start doing that. But 2 weeks is the proper amount of time. And here's why. Because the first week that you give your notice, it's kind of a shockwave and it has to go around the organization. They need to have meetings. They need to talk about it. They need to figure out how they're going to cover for you. So that first week is kind of lost for them. And then everyone in the organization needs to find out, and you need to just, figure out how you're going to wrap things up for them in a nice way. Now, notice that I'm giving you tips here that are beneficial for your current employer. You might say, Joe, well, why? Why? They've been rotten to me. They're a horrible organization. I can't wait to get out of here. Why should I be nice to them? Hang in here with me for a couple minutes and it will all become clear. So 2 weeks notice is good. Don't give 1 week's notice, and do not give more than 2 weeks notice. Sorry. Like don't give 3 weeks notice. 3 weeks is too much. That third week is really awkward. They've got it figured out. They've hired someone for your position. Your work is all wrapped up and it can get kind of weird. I will say that if you're in a position where you know you're going to retire, maybe at the end of the year, and you want to give your employer like months worth of notice, that's fine. That's a different kind of thing. So you're transitioning out, you're in a key role. You do want to give them a longer time frame to prepare for your departure and cover your role and stuff like that. But if you're just working, you've been there, you're ready to go, 2 weeks. The first week, nothing much happens. The second week, you kind of wrap things up. And honestly, by the end of week 2, you're done and you're ready to move on and they're ready to say goodbye to you. So 2 weeks notice is the proper amount of time. Your letter of resignation. Here is the proper way to do it. So you don't want to tell your current manager that you're leaving through an internal chat or by email. The right thing to do is ask your manager for a face-to-face meeting or a video meeting and tell them in person. Tell them over the video. Don't break the news to them by way of internal chat channel or an email. That's not the proper way to do it. And the reason why I'm saying all this is going to make sense at the end of this video where I wrap it all up. And believe me, you want to do these things in the correct fashion. It all has to do with being a good corporate citizen, but we'll get to that in a minute. So ask your boss if you can meet with them. If you meet with them in person, that's fine. And if you meet with them on the video, that's fine too. And get right to the point. Say, look, I've decided to leave the organization. I would like to give my 2 weeks notice now. And then you'll probably have a conversation with your boss in that moment, which is fine. But at the end of it, you want to say, I will now send you an email with my letter of resignation. So Tell them in person first. Agree that you're going to then send them an official email. You might need to CC the HR department, whatever. You can ask what they want to do. But the idea here is to leave on the best possible terms. And again, I'll get to why at the end of this video. So your letter of resignation should be really, really simple. As in, please accept this email as my letter of resignation. My last day with the company will be, and then add that day, unless otherwise stated by the company. Thank you, and then your name. That's it. Don't put the reason why you're leaving. Don't put much more than that. Just say, please let this email stand as my letter of resignation. Here's the date I'm leaving. Thank you very much. That's it. Don't put more than that in there. You don't need to. Don't list the reasons why, any of that stuff. Just do not get into that. Okay. So the other part of this would be as you're looking for another job or you're thinking about leaving, you really want to keep this quiet. Don't broadcast that you're looking. Don't broadcast that you've got other job interviews internally. Don't tell people, because even though you love those people and you trust them, they might love other people in the organization and trust those people, but you might not know those people, and suddenly word gets out that you are looking and you are leaving. So let's say you have a second interview with a company and it looks pretty good, but you don't have a signed offer letter yet. And you tell someone in your current job that you've had a second interview and it looks good, you'll probably be leaving, but then things fall through and you don't get that opportunity and you're still at the same company and the wrong people know that you had that interview. So you don't want to be in that position. Chances are, if you're looking around, your employer is going to suspect that you're looking. But you can just cover that by saying, I have to do some personal business this day, and that's how you cover it. So step number 6, don't be upset if they don't beg you to stay. Okay, don't be offended if they don't counter. When you tell them, I'm leaving the organization, this is going to be my last day, thank you so much, I'll send in my letter of resignation. Some companies will counteroffer, but many won't. And don't take that personally. That's okay. Just keep going. Remember, you have a better job to go to. So hopefully, you're going to leave anyway, and that's fine. Step number 7, you want to leave the door open a little bit with your current employer. Okay, I am about to wrap up all of this for you right now. Here's the big overarching reason of why you want to follow these steps when you give your letter, when you leave your current job. Let's say that your current manager is someone that you don't like. Maybe you don't get along with them. Maybe you're mad at the organization. Maybe you're not paying attention. Maybe you're just sort of fly at the cuff. You just kind of wing it. And you say, I'm leaving and I'm leaving tomorrow. Well, that really screws your current manager over. You leave them hanging. That puts them in a bad situation. You leave, you go on to your next job. 5 years later, you're married, you've got 3 kids, you go for another job, which you really need at that point. Maybe you've got a mortgage. Maybe, in the future, your situation has changed, you're going for another job, and you really need that job. And guess who the vice president of the division in that new company you're trying to get the job in is? Yeah, your old former manager that you just screwed over. So here's the point. You need to be a good corporate citizen, because the corporate world is big, but it's actually pretty small. You can run into people, again, in your career, and they're going to remember how you conducted yourself in the past. You might not think people are watching, you might not think people are paying attention, but believe me, they are. So you want to be careful about how you exit a job for the sake of your future career. It's kind of like an investment plan. You might say again, Joe, I don't need any of that. I don't care about these people. I'm leaving. But think of it this way. If you don't like the company and you don't like your manager, there are other people working there who in the future you may run into. And they may be paying attention to the way you're conducting yourself now. Maybe you're not aware of it. But in the future, you may run into them. They may work at another employer where you want to be in the future. And they may get wind that you're trying to get into that company 5 years from now. And they might say, yes, we definitely want to hire this person. I worked with them. We had a terrible job in a terrible company back then. But they were so graceful the way they left. And they were so professional. And they were such a good corporate citizen that we definitely would want that person on our team now, based on something that someone saw you do in this job that you're trying to leave. So you want to be mindful of that these things are following you and people are paying attention. So you're either going to run into a previous boss, you might run into a previous coworker, and think of it this way too, you need good letters of reference, because when people hire you in the future, they're going to say, we want 3 references. One of them should be a former manager. So as you're exiting your current job that you hate, and you go in and you break the news to your current manager, you want to do that in the following way. You just say, I have another opportunity. I'm leaving this organization. I wanted to come to you first and let you know that I'm leaving. I will give you my letter of resignation. I will CC the HR department. And during the next 2 weeks, I'd like to prepare things to the best of my capabilities for you, such that I leave you in a good situation, so that I'm not leaving here on bad terms. As much as it kills you to say that, it's in your best interest to say it, because that's going to be gold for you as you move forward, in the form of asking people for references when you're trying to get a job in the future, in the form of that manager is going to go to other people in the organization and say, you know, this person just gave their notice and they did it in a very professional way. And that's what you want. You need to be able to hold your head up high. Remember, you're leaving that organization, so just get through it and leave it in a good way. Don't leave like a kidney stone. That's step number 1. Give your 2 weeks notice. Your letter of resignation should be extraordinarily simple and to the point. 1 line, 2 lines. This is who I am. I'm leaving. This is the day when I'm leaving. Thank you. And then point number 4 is don't leave before you have signed an offer letter from the job you're going to. So if you're looking for another job and you've got interviews, do not give your notice until you have that signed document from your new employer that says, yes, that is the contract for your new job. And if you don't have that in hand and it's not signed, you should not give your notice at your current job, because anything could happen. That could fall through. Do not make a move until you have that signed offer letter in your hand for your new job. Okay, point number 5 is don't tell anyone. You can tell your dog if you want. Some dogs don't speak too well and they're not going to tell anyone. You can tell maybe your family members, of course, but I wouldn't tell anyone at work until you're really pretty far along there, because as much as you love those people, you don't want to put the onus on them to have to be quiet. Right, that gives them too much responsibility in some cases, so, keep it low until you really have the offer. Step number 6, don't be upset if they don't counteroffer. Don't be upset if they don't beg you to stay. It's okay. It's all right. Just move on. Life is long and there's many different things to do. It's cool, so just go with that. And you want to leave the door open a little bit. This is the last step, step number 7. No matter what the circumstances are, you want to leave gracefully. That's so important. Even if you think this is just a burning hole, I would never want to work here again, I hate everybody, it's a terrible thing, it's toxic, on and on and on. I'm telling you, you don't know what's going to happen in the future. You don't know how things are going to change. Now, you don't have to give them too much other than courtesy and respect, and be a professional. Say, look, it's time for me to move on to my next career phase, and I'm leaving here. Thank you so much for allowing me to be employed here. If you want, you can say that. If you don't, but just be cool about it, and head out the door gracefully. That is going to work in your favor. So you want to keep that door open a little bit in case, heaven forbid, something happens in your life and you actually need to go back to that job or go back and work with some of the people that you work with there, even though you didn't like it. All right. That wraps up this video. If you got something out of this, if you like the content, please please subscribe. That helps me grow the channel. The whole idea here is to create these videos that are going to help you with your career. I've been in the workforce for over 40 years. I've got a lot of knowledge. I want to share it with you. All right, off I go. Thanks for watching. Please take care of yourself. Take care of one another. Be kind. Be smart before you react, and you'll be fine. Off I go. Thanks so much.